Okay, well, first of all, I just want to welcome everybody here today, and just a couple logistics. Everybody knows where the exits are by now, hopefully, and everybody has their phone turned off. And I just want to welcome everybody today, and I thank you for coming because, as the last day, people kind of wander around. So the title of today's session is "Factory of the Future is Now: Data, Energy Management, and Sustainability Accelerating the Digital Transformation." And I think what you're going to find is we have a really interesting cast of characters today. The speakers today are from world-class companies, and I think that you're going to find that their presentation is super. And I haven't had the opportunity to hear them all, but I have seen their presentations, and they're very, very interesting. So what we're going to be covering is accelerating the digital transformation to solve operational challenges with data, safety systems, energy management, and sustainable technology solutions, a lot of which are leading to more autonomous, and this will be the future of automation, and also the future of the digital transformation is to make industrial processes more autonomous. So I have a short survey, if everybody wants to take their little phone out and do it. And it's just a ranking of some technologies. It's not all the technologies you're going to see in this session, but just to give you an idea of, just to get an idea of what the people in this room are thinking, to tell you the truth, like what they think has the most value or importance. It takes a couple seconds, so it's good while people are wandering in. Is it working? It is. Okay. Okay, good. That's great. Because I think that those are the topics that we're going to spend a lot of time on today. So I'm really thrilled that that's what the results are. So you came to the right session. So some of the newer digital technologies that we're seeing, and you've seen these throughout this forum, and some of the ones we're going to focus on today are the data management, data historians, the visualization, sustainability, and safety systems, and also the idea of going from automated, more autonomous, and more auto functionality, leading to a more autonomous future. So we're seeing a lot of changes in production, and this happens to be an area that I focus on. My name's Janice Abel, by the way. And one of the areas I focus on is operational historians, data platforms. And one of the things that the main function of a historian is really to store data and take and contextualize that data into a format that makes sense in an industrial environment. And it is different from business databases and business systems. And ultimately, it's about taking the data and getting it to people. And today, often we're using these much more advanced analytic tools that make it much easier. And sometimes they're embedded in the historians today that we're seeing. And they're also, sometimes, they work with the historian and turn it into actionable data insights. And so we're also seeing a lot of newer platforms, and these have more open, seamless integration. They're more interoperable. They have what they call low-code, no-code platform. We heard that quite a bit when we were doing our research this year and last year. And what this allows you to do is drag and drop and have a much more visual way to do programming and what they call citizen programs often. I don't particularly like that term, but it allows operators and engineers to be able to do some of the applications that they need to do with the data. And it makes it much more personal, so you have much more personas and personalized information to the right person at the right time. And also, they're much more scalable today for a whole lot of different reasons that we're seeing and secure. And there's a lot more information about our research, but I just wanted to give you just a few little facts. And ultimately, it's all about the data, really. The digital transformation comes down to it. It's about the data and what you do with the data. So in our research, one of the things about the historian that makes it different, well, one is that the data is much faster. We see data that goes from a 16th of a millisecond in some cases, that fast, to as fast, and even faster in some cases, to it could be 10 minutes. So what is real-time data? A lot of people call it real-time data. It's fast data, and you get it to the operator, very fast because they need it quickly. And so that's one of the things that differentiate it. And there's many other things that differentiate a data historian from a regular database or financial database. But what we are seeing is in the industrial historian space, based on our research, and we collect the information by revenue, we're seeing that the largest area for revenue is the structured process data, which you'd expect, because that has a lot of metadata with it, has high, low alarm limits. There's other types of data. There's like the temperature or the pressure, whatever you're measuring. And then there's other types of data that are associated with each individual, what they call tags. So each of those data points, and there's a lot of data points collected every day. Sometimes people collect in the very, very huge amounts of data, depending upon the plant and what they're doing. And so you'll see the little bubbles at the bottom, and they're small. Well, they're smaller because those spaces are just starting to grow in the industrial historian. And these is data that they're taken to use in the operations. And the fastest growing data that we see, and it's growing pretty fast, is the unstructured data, like what you're seeing here, the voice, videos, images. And then we're seeing things like 3D virtual reality is the second bubble that you see. And the third one is, down the bottom, is financial data. And then we're seeing other types of data like weather data, which is growing a little bit slower, but they're still growing much faster than the structured process data. And we'll always have structured process data, I think. So the largest market for industrial data is the structured process data. And so there's a lot of other differentials, and we look at a lot of other different areas and perspective to see what's happening in the market, including by industry, by regions, and by many other areas, like by cloud or edge. And I don't have time to show you all that today, but it's really interesting information. So the other thing that we're seeing about the industrial historians is we're seeing them move to the cloud. We're seeing plant historians, site historians, we're seeing enterprise historians. But we're also seeing multi-cloud historians. So you're going to have information or historians stored in different places. However, the majority of the data is still on-premise today. There is data moving to the cloud, and people are doing that, and edge and data lakes and other places. But today, and it's going to be a while before that grows to a point where you see all of the data. I think it's probably going to take at least a decade, truthfully. Because one of the things is, in the industrial space, manufacturers tend to be slow adopters. They're not the fastest in the industry, but it will change. And they need to feel much more, I think it's, and also the other problem is, in some cases, people tell me that their data will always be on-premise, and maybe their cloud operations will be on-premise as well, because they're not going to go to a public cloud because they have issues with either security, liability, or there's a whole bunch of other reasons why, or they need the data faster. So there's a whole bunch of reasons, and we could get into that, and there would be a whole nother discussion. So I do have another quick survey. And this one, I just want you to do a word cloud. I was interested to see what new capabilities or technologies people would like to see in the future, just in one word, which is hard to do. Yeah, definitely autonomous. So anybody else? A few more words? Yeah. Autonomous is coming out, yeah. I've definitely been hearing that during this session, so. Okay, well, I think we can see that seamless integration, open and seamless, and it is getting more, but the problem is that in the industrial space, the other thing is having open operations great, but there's a lot of legacy systems and machines that are still in a lot of plants all over the world, and so often they require more proprietary integration. So that is one of the issues that does come up quite often. So, and the other question that comes up quite often with the historian is, what is the future going to look like? What's happening with the historian? So that's what we've been looking at quite a bit now. So ultimately, it comes down to continue to invest to the suppliers and the end users out there. Continue to invest in the digital transformation. There's a lot of value in the digital transformation. And today's discussion and what we're going to talk about today, I think, is really, really important. So I say leverage these smart, sustainable production technology solutions and continue to invest. And we're going to talk about data, energy management, and safety systems, and automation that's leading to a more autonomous future.